Let's get started with improvised weapon proficiency. One of the most common abilities ever created and arguably one of the most used powers ever created and found within world culture and popular culture, users of this extremely practical and extremely unpredictable and ever-present power can either innately or through training become a master of wielding improvised weapons, which simply allows them to make do in situations that require self-defense or if the user is otherwise unarmed. This in turn allows the user to perform feats ranging from, but not limited to, bludgeoning their opponents with a book or a cart you randomly grabbed in a library fight, slicing through opponents with a playing card during a poker game, or even finding offensive uses for harmless things like fruits, vegetables, or other edible objects. Who knows, perhaps by shaping them into weapon-like shapes, and many other examples that involve the use of just grabbing a weapon and going to town with it. Effectively, in the user's hands, anything can be and will be a weapon, even if it's not shaped like a traditional weapon. I can't make this any more simpler than it sounds. Like, that's really all this ability has to it. So, let's move on to the important stuff. Did you guys know that whatever you wonderful word and nerdettes are watching me on right now can be used as a weapon? Yeah, I'm not kidding. You watching me on your phone? Just chuck it at some chick who pisses you off. Watching me on your laptop or PC? Then just crack some annoying kid over the head with it. But don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button before you inevitably break your device. So, do the Shay a favor and hit that like and subscribe button real quick. But for those of you who would rather use a more, well, I guess normal really isn't the word, but a normalish weapon, then I guess you can at least hit that share button so others can get in on this creative way of harming others. Yeah, that came out wrong. I do not endorse John Wicking someone. But for those of you who are interested, stay tuned and let's get into the many different ways you can use many different objects to... Okay, I really don't endorse physical violence, so these are jokes, people. The history of improvised weaponry can be found in every culture, on every planet, in every corner of the world. And that's not an exaggeration. Whether it's finding human skulls with scraps of metal or pieces of wood lodged in them to finding the remains of victims crushed between two objects, this is a power, or ability in the majority of cases, that's older than known history. So it would make sense that it can be found in uncountable legends and uncountable myths across our very same world. I mean, if you think about it, the entire concept of human existence is just taking a chance and winging it. And oftentimes, the concept behind this power can mimic that idiom down to a T. Shoot, you can even use a T as a weapon if you want to. But anyway, basically, if you want to use it to harm others, in a manner that looks like you didn't plan on using it for that explicit purpose, you have a user of this power. Yeah, okay, that last part was pretty short because I just wanted to get the general idea across. And now that I have, we can move on to the next part. Now, I know I repeated this numerous times, and I'll probably repeat it even more than that, as long as you guys continue to watch these videos. But anything, and I do mean anything, can and will be used as a weapon. In fact, I feel 99.9999999 infinitely repeating % sure that this is a power that every single person watching this video has at least used once in their life. And don't even try to argue with me on this either, because you have. Me personally, I like wide and flat things to swat at flies, while my mom likes using high heel shoes, and librarians that I know tend to use books, but that's besides the point. Oftentimes, though, this ability gets mixed up with improbable weapons, which I've done a video on, check that out, because they are extremely similar. And if you think about it, in reality, though, there's no difference between using a non-weapon as a weapon and making any object into a weapon. They're both going to accomplish the same thing. But if I had to draw a line in the sand for the sake of this video, I'd say improvised weapons are born of a need, while improbable weapons are already weapons. They're just extremely unorthodox. And in the case of our world, they would seem completely useless. So for example, instead of using a traditional shield to defend against someone, instead grab a pot lid and do the same, while at the same time using it to bludgeon that same someone into unconsciousness. Shoot, this ability can be done with a regular weapon too, like the shield mentioned earlier. But in order for a standard weapon to seem improvised, you would need to use it in a way that it normally isn't used in. But the main thing about this ability is that whatever's being used as the improvised weaponry is not always going to look like and be classified as a weapon. Even something that can be used as a traditional weapon, like your mind or voice, can be classified as improvised if you use it to drive someone insane on the spot or inflict harm in any way, shape, or form. So it suffices to say that when this is being used, the main question that the sight or experience of it being used will invoke in someone that sees it is along the lines of, how the heck did they think of that? If someone gives you that reaction after you use something random as a weapon, you're pretty much using this power as well too. So since these are more or less ordinary things that you find lying around in order to use them as a weapon, in the vast majority of cases, these improvised weapons will carry no special qualities to them unless they already contain them prior to being used. But there are examples of users with this power being able to, infuse the improvised weapon with a supernatural ability, but that would require you having superpowers beforehand. So there's that. So unlike improbable weaponry, which I've done a video on, I said that before, more often than not, this power itself will not only be compiled with enhanced strength, but also enhanced speed and other enhanced physical capabilities to give it that extra oomph. But it's not unheard of to add other elemental or supernatural powers to the improvised weapon as well. But like I said, that requires you to already have these elemental or supernatural powers ahead of time. So with that being said, as you guys can guess, and if you haven't guessed, I'll just go ahead and tell you, there aren't many common stats for this ability because of the different type of improvised weapons that exist. So as such, it doesn't really have a definite form or a definite shape. And as icing on the metaphorical cake, it can be used in any era. So you really can't mess up a power like this whenever or however you decide to portray it. So odds of pissing off the audience when you show this power are very slim. So have fun grabbing whatever you can in order to use it to, do things you probably shouldn't, or things that'll probably land you in jail, because it is going to be used as a weapon. So, okay, now this next part might be a little weird because normally I list out the applications and uses for this power, along with its weaknesses and limitations, but that really isn't going to work too well for this ability in particular, because everyone knows you can attack and defend with this power, but unless you get into the specific types of unorthodox weapons or ways that you can use this power, you really can't list out the full capabilities in a way that doesn't confuse or at least look rushed or messy. Well, at least in terms of, how I do videos normally. So I'm going to stop this here and then direct you guys to improbable weaponry, which, like I said before, should be in the description, and its splinter videos. But to continue from here, on a scale of 1 to 10, the Shea scaling system gives this power a spike-laced 9. Why 9, you ask? Well, because it is pretty top tier and extremely versatile. Because, like I said, anything can be improvised and used as a weapon. But the fact is, you actually need something. That part matters. So that's why I didn't get a perfect 10. But if you guys think it's a perfect power, then just let me know in the comment section. So